This week on Real Talk with Micah Smith. Have you heard? The Denver Broncos want to build a new stadium at Burnham Yard, not too far from where I am right now. Okay, so you've probably heard more about this than you ever wanted to know. While the news and sports coverage will certainly continue to cover the team extensively, I wanted to focus in on the actual neighborhood, Alma-Lincoln Park neighborhood, the community and the people who have called this part of Denver home for more than a century. Let's dive in. Welcome to Real Talk with Micah Smith. I'm your host, Micah, and I am so glad to have you with us. September 15th through October 15th is Hispanic Heritage Month. And in recognition of the month this year, I wanted to take you with me as I explore the Alma-Lincoln Park neighborhood, a community that's been in the spotlight recently due to the Broncos' interest in building a stadium there. Alma-Lincoln Park is located in West Denver, and according to the city of Denver, it's considered one of the oldest neighborhoods in the city, dating back to before 1900. La Alma means the soul and is the name of a beautiful mural artist Emmanuel Martinez painted in the neighborhood in 1978. You'll hear from him later in the show. Lincoln is named for President Abraham Lincoln. The name La Alma-Lincoln Park marries the neighborhood's Chicano roots and American history. To talk more about that, I met Doctor of Education Karen Jaramillo, an MSU Denver lecturer of Chicana Studies. Dr. Jaramillo, let's just jump right in. Talk to me about La Alma-Lincoln Park and even how the name kind of really speaks to the history and the culture here.
Yes, La Alma. La Alma means the soul. The West Side community, the soul of the West Side community is vibrant. It's rooted. It's cultivated. It's when you think of the soul, you think of an essence. I think of the essence. And so when you look around and you see the people and the community, the houses, the structure of the houses and all, you feel the essence of the music, when I think of culture, the language, the diverse languages that are being spoken, it's this connection to your ancestors, connection to your land, connection to, I think I might have said language, but I want to say language again, because I think that's really critical and very, very important. And it could be because I just finished teaching class and we're focusing on language and the necessity of just the criticalness of how it is the essence of the people. So La Alma, the soul, is the essence of this neighborhood. I grew up in this neighborhood. My very first job was right across the street at the parish, Denver City. It wasn't the parish right as it is right now, but it was my very first job at 13 years old. And that's the soul of who I am. My very first job was to deliver books to the projects. We called them the Jets, to the children in the Jets. And they were storybooks, and so I'd fill up a red wagon. This is part of La Alma. This is part of the soul, right? And I walk through the neighborhood giving books to the children. And I did not know that the full circle of this would be that I love reading, writing, research.
Who were the first to settle this area of Denver?
Of course, the indigenous, the Arapaho, Cheyenne, the Ute, the Apache, forgive me for not naming all of them. Right around the 1800s, the diverse group of working class came in, which were the Germans, the Irish, the Italians, and those of Mexican descent. And so then by mid-20th century, then that's when you start finding the Chicano community coming and settling here as well.
What do you think are some of the unique challenges that this community faces?
Gentrification, I think is definitely right there on the list, top of the list. The community has changed dramatically from when I remember it. This was a community that where you would find the protests of the 1960s and 70s. West High School is just down the block. You have the West High School blowouts where the walkouts occurred also during that period. They were really standing for equity in education, wages, housing, healthcare, a lot of the similar things that we're talking about today, right? And I think something that is fairly new, to be added to that is this form of gentrification.
Part of this episode, we're diving into the impacts of the Denver Broncos now being interested in Burnham Yard and building their new stadium, and what that means for this very neighborhood. And so
Exactly.
as you are observing the gentrification and really helping bring us into that and what it means to this community, I have to ask what you think the future might hold for La Alma, because there's a lot of change headed this way.
Yeah. There's a lot of change headed this way. I'm excited about a new Bronco stadium because we're Bronco fans. We're Bronco family. That is part of our essence.
Yeah.
It's part of our soul. I'm very concerned about the displacement again. This idea of in the name of progress. I'm hoping that the vision and the forward thinking on this progress of a new stadium is that they have the voices that have been silenced for far too long in this community and among the Latino and Chicano communities, that they are heard, that they are truly, truly heard. Because we're talking about our future generation. We're talking about the niños y the niñas, that we're talking about right now, right at this moment. These young people who drive from Thornton to come to West High School to be in this community. And I guess I just, as I said, I'm a huge Bronco fan. And it is, we're having all these discussions within the familia about a new stadium. I look at the community and I just said, at what expense might it overflow?
All right, Dr. Karen Jaramillo, thank you so much for joining us for this Real Talk.
Thank you.
Dr. Jaramillo mentioned her first job was at the parish, meaning Denver Inner City Parish. Up next, we're going to the nonprofit that's been located in Alma-Lincoln Park for decades, uplifting voices and meeting needs. And we're also visiting a museum nearby that's received nationwide recognition for its collections, reflecting culture and community. You're watching Real Talk with Micah Smith. Welcome back to Real Talk with Micah Smith. Denver's La Alma-Lincoln Park neighborhood is steeped in rich Chicano history. Before the break, MSU Denver Chicano Studies lecturer Dr. Karen Jaramillo helped walk us through a lot of that. Now I want to take us to Denver Inner City Parish, that's been working to meet the needs of the community for more than 60 years, and Museo de las Americas, the premier Latin American art museum in the Rocky Mountain region. Up first, here's my conversation with Denver Inner City Parish Director of Programs, Ruben Gregory. All right, Ruben, thank you so much for joining us for this Real Talk.
Great to be here, thanks.
Tell us a little bit more about what Denver Inner City Parish does and who you serve.
Well, Denver Inner City Parish has been around for 65 years, coming up here, and we are a social services organization that has a handful of major programs, and we've evolved through the years. We used to have a school, and we've always had a food pantry. We've always had a program for seniors in the neighborhood, because those two needs have always been there. We have an immigration center that helps a lot of undocumented folks here, so that's obviously a need here in the community too.
Absolutely. Why is it important for you to operate here in La Alma-Lincoln Park? It seems like you're providing a lot of services that are pretty needs specific. So why here?
Well, we started here and we never wanted to leave because our people are here. We became a trusted place to go for all ages. We have kids dropping in. We had summer camp all summer this year, and as I mentioned, we have senior citizens coming for lunch and for community 3 days a week. Our people are still here. We just feel like we're a part of La Alma. That's our identity now.
You mentioned you do serve undocumented immigrants. This episode, we're also talking about it being Hispanic Heritage Month. I don't want to assume, but are many of those immigrants that you serve Latino immigrants?
Yeah, I would say most.
I just think about Alma-Lincoln Park's kind of Hispanic heritage and it being just a community that is full of different cultures that kind of fall under the Latino umbrella. Is that something that you see here at Denver Inner City Parish?
We do really identify with that. A lot of our staff is Spanish speaking. A lot of the folks we serve that are documented, that are just coming in for community and other pieces, are Spanish speaking. Our immigration center is less busy now. The avenues for legal work have dried up a little bit in the last year. But it doesn't mean we don't want to stay ready and be ready for when we can help people there.
Big news that's been talked about for quite a few weeks now is that the Denver Broncos are interested in Burnham Yard, not too far from here, in terms of building a new stadium. What impacts do you think there could be due to that on the neighborhood and even possibly Denver Inner City Parish?
Obviously, it'll have a huge impact on the neighborhood. You know, the neighborhood's changing already. It's gentrifying, and I think it'll speed up that process considerably. I don't think it'll lose its roots, but I'd be sad if it impacted the folks that have been here for generations and forced people out. And I hope that doesn't happen. I hope it doesn't force us out.
Yeah, I hope so too. All right, Ruben Gregory, Program Director for Denver Inner City Parish. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, thank you so much.
And just a 2-minute drive away sits the community-based museum, Museo de las Americas, where I met up with communications manager Cristina El Hoyo to talk about art's relationship to La Alma-Lincoln Park's community. Cristina, tell me about the mission here at the museum and how that mission really fits into the neighborhood that you're in.
So our mission here at Museo de las Americas is basically showcasing the art and culture of Latin America and Latino artists everywhere. So we do that through, innovative art exhibitions. We have semi-permanent exhibitions and also a contemporary exhibition. And we also do that through our educational programming that we have for youth and children.
How important is art to the La Alma-Lincoln Park neighborhood?
It is vital. Art is how we tell stories about the community, and it's how we preserve our culture, and it's how we talk about difficult and important issues. So it is really vital. I feel also, especially for youth, it is a way for them to express themselves, express their dreams, their wants, their desires, their also struggles as well. So it's also very important for mental health and also for cultural preservation as well.
Wow, and it's almost like generations, you can work across generations through art.
Exactly, yeah, because it's telling you the history, for past generations, and it's also a way to keep that cultural evolution right into the future.
Cristina, we are learning the Denver Broncos plan to build a stadium in La Alma-Lincoln Park. In terms of art, what would you like to see included in these plans?
I would say that I would like to see how that major development can honor and reflect that generations that have been here for a long time. Right, so I think I would like to see, for example, some meaningful public art that represents La Alma-Lincoln Park's Latino heritage, for example, that is done by Latino local artists as well. Probably also I would like to see some community gathering places, where community can come together and have that community component that I feel like sometimes, it is lacking, and that's what we're also trying to do, right? Bring the community together and have those sacred spaces.
How do art and culture go hand in hand?
Art is basically the more visible part of culture, right? It's how you can see it, it's tangible. It tells the story of the past, your ancestors. And it also is a way for future generations and youth to be able to see the art, see it also with other communities and see it with other people, and also transform that, participate in that cultural evolution, and basically be able to make it their own and be able to make it different and have room and space for their vision as well.
That's certainly on display here at Museo de las Americas.
Yes, we try to always incorporate, all the generations, the past, the present, and the future as well.
All right, Christina, thank you so much for joining us for this Real Talk. The museum has so many beautiful works of art. I will definitely have to go back when I'm not working, spend a little time there. Now, art is at the heart of La Alma-Lincoln Park. You may remember earlier this episode, I mentioned La Alma mural. Well, the artist is the co-founder of Museo de las Americas, and coming up, we're sitting down with him and his daughter, who have meant so much to La Alma. This is Real Talk with Micah Smith. Welcome back. For this episode of Real Talk with Micah Smith, in honor of Hispanic Heritage Month, we've been exploring Denver's La Alma-Lincoln Park neighborhood, a neighborhood known for its Chicano heritage with art at the epicenter of it all. I met artist Emmanuel Martinez and his daughter Lucha Martinez de Luna to talk about Emmanuel's work and Lucha's mission to preserve it. So Emmanuel, I want to start with you. How did you get interested in art and specifically interested in creating murals?
Well, I was actually incarcerated when I was 13 years old in the Le Camont School for Boys in Golden, and I just kind of discovered my talent there, and they allowed me to do a mural there. That mural just kind of inspired me to pursue art career, and then I was helped later by an artist who kind of helped me get out of trouble and back into school, and I've been doing murals ever since. I'm actually considered the pioneer of the mural movement in Denver because I was doing them in 1968. A year after that, I moved into the Lincoln Park projects, which just located. They were right across the street from this park, and at that time, I helped take over the park pool. By that I mean they didn't used to employ people in the community at that time. It was all white, so we basically felt that the community should have more control. So I became a lifeguard in order to paint a mural. The city allowed me to paint a mural on a storage building that used to be here, and so I painted my first outside public mural here in La Alma Park, and that was in 1970. In 1978, I did the mural behind us for a film that was done on the murals of Denver, and since then other parks have wanted murals, and to this date, I've actually painted about 100 murals, and 50 of them are in facilities of incarcerated kids through a project called the Emmanuel Project.
Do you have a favorite piece?
Actually, this is my favorite.
That's your favorite? Why?
Yeah, it was more of a spontaneous type of mural. It wasn't really pre-planned because the filmmaker, didn't because of the time limitations. So I basically did the composition directly on the wall, just with very few sketches, and I had so much community support and so much fun in doing this, and it's become since then probably the most iconic mural in Denver.
Lucha, I want to bring you into the conversation as well, because you've worked very hard to preserve your father's murals, but also other artists' murals. Can you talk to me about your work in that?
Yeah, so I'm the director of the Emmanuel Project and the Chicano Murals of Colorado Project, and what we do is we essentially recognize these murals as community murals, which means that the community was very much engaged in actually helping to paint the murals, but at the same time a lot of the artists were from the community that painted the murals, and the murals will often depict individuals that live in the community. So it's very significant to save and preserve these murals, which in the Alma area there are some murals that I consider historic legacy murals. And so what our organization is trying to do is build awareness, but also we've been working with preservation organizations like the National Trust. You'll see behind us on this mural that in 2022 we were I nominated the murals, the historic community murals of Colorado to be on the National Trust 11 Most Endangered Places, and they were actually selected to be on this list. Just to give you an example, another historical archaeological site that is on this list is Mesa Verde. So it was very, very significant to help build awareness of how important these murals are for our community and for the state. So doing those type of initiatives really help to really bring the focus to these murals and how are we going to protect them for future generations.
Yeah. This episode we've talked a lot about Alma-Lincoln Park neighborhood, but also the interest now from the Denver Broncos and wanting to build their new stadium at Burnham Yard. In terms of art, what would you like to see included in all of these community plans and plans for an entertainment district? What would you like to see in terms of art?
Well, I definitely would like to see an initiative to protect these murals and to preserve what's here already, and also to find out ways to bring the voices of the community into this planning process, which I know that they are doing already. But a big component of this is the storytelling component, that we really, really need to hear the voices of the community, because the reality is this neighborhood is probably one of the last neighborhoods in Denver that is right now experiencing extreme gentrification, extreme displacement, and the community is just, it's not here anymore. And as this develops more and more, they won't be here. So what is left are the murals and our voices.
Emmanuel, what are your thoughts on this topic as well? I know you have a very special relationship, both of you do, to this neighborhood, and your art is literally adorning the walls of so many community spaces. So what would you like to see?
Well, I agree with Lucha wholeheartedly in terms of preserving what's already here, and because it does reflect the historical significance of the area. But in addition to that, I think there may be another significant public work of art that might depict some more history, maybe in the development of the stadium, perhaps another mural or sculpture or something that represents this community, because as Lucha said, it's become very gentrified, and all we're going to have left are these art pieces.
All right, Lucha and Emmanuel, thank you so much for joining me for this Real Talk.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thank you too.
Thank you.
I see you on TV all the time.
Oh, I've really enjoyed that conversation with Emmanuel and Lucha. And Denver Broncos decision makers, if you're watching Real Talk this week, Emmanuel may be your guy for some community art. And that is this week's episode of Real Talk with Micah Smith. We are so thankful that every week you choose to tune in for this Real Talk on issues that impact Coloradans who are often overlooked. We hope you'll stick with us. And if there's a Real Talk you would like to have me look into, please let me know. You can send me an email at micah.smith@denver7.com. In the meantime, you can find all of our shows on denver7.com/realtalk. Have a great day.